Hi, I'm Christina.
I'm Maya from
Book and Dreams,
and welcome to a new video. Alright, so this is part 2 of our February wrap-up. I don't know what month it is. So yeah, just keep watching. We read a bunch of books this month, so we had to separate it into 2.
Yeah, this is again that point where you are rolling for over 30 minutes and you just say, this is just too much.
Yeah, alright. Let's continue on. Oh, it's me next. Oh, Jesus.
Sci-fi romance.
Alright, so... well, I don't even know how I got to this book. I was doing something, and then it occurred to me, like, oh my god, didn't I read something by Victoria Eveline, whatever her name is, I forgot. And I remember reading the first 3 books, Choosing Theo, which is fantastic, and then Saving Luca or something Veraco, I don't know, about the aliens and stuff. And I was like, I knew there was one that was supposed to come out, and it did come out, and I read it, and that is called Tempting Owset. So basically, in this universe, you have humans who were basically taken from their planet by... I want to say they're blue, but I'm not sure they're blue aliens. So this is not Ice Planet Barbarians, but it's similar. Basically, they're taken from their planet because this alien planet, oh my god, it has a name that I cannot pronounce. Clacations, something like that. I'll write it here so you can know. Basically, because the aliens have trouble with procreation, and because they had a plague thing that killed a lot of women, and they had to basically have this system where each alien has a wife for 3 months, and then they move on, and they have these selections, contests and stuff, and where you can basically The Bachelor, but without all the shit the Bachelor has, selecting stuff. There's a process that's in the first one that's explained. So in the third one, a bunch of humans escaped from an underground bunker, and the 2 of those humans went into the forest to run away from the aliens. Okay. And in the third one, we follow one of the humans, and in the fourth one, we follow the second one, because during their running away, they basically fell down a river and separated, right? Oh, okay. In this one, we follow... Oh my god, I'm suck at names. I don't remember the girl's name. I'm sorry. Maybe it will come to me at some point. Basically, she survives this whole river thingy and finds herself in a land where it's a different type of aliens, but they're the same. But they're separated in different cities. Where basically she's, again, hot commodity because she's human and whatever. Okay. And she's being followed there by by Owset, who is one of the... there's a whole, group of brothers that we basically follow. He's one of the brothers. And he is very, not strict, but he's very formal. He's very, by the rules. He doesn't... Uptight, yes, that was the word I was looking for. And our human is not. She's very impulsive and likes to have fun. She basically gets them into trouble, and they have to pretend that they're engaged to be married, so she doesn't get taken by the other aliens. So through that they form a relationship, and then of course something happens and they have a huge fight, and it's very angsty, which was really great. And in the end, of course, with every book they get together again, and it was a fun read. I liked it. I read it. I think did I listen to it on audio? No, I didn't. I read it on in ebook form. It was fun. I'm looking forward to sequels of that.
Oh, very cool. Okay, so now I have something that I think neither you or I have read for a very long time, and that is a mystery. It's not a thriller. It's like a crime book.
All right.
Okay, so this is, first of all, it's called No Rest for the Dead. This is written by 26 different authors. So as I gathered, this was actually written to be sold, and then all the proceeds royalty proceeds would go to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So I'm guessing that's why it was written. And you have authors such as David Baldacci. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but Jeff Lindsay. You have Diana Gabaldon, which is weird. Katie Reich, Sandra Brown. There's a bunch of
Errol Stein.
Yeah, Tess Gerritsen. So
Katie Reich.
Yeah, so you have a bunch of authors. So I was led to believe by the summary that
That's like a lot that led to believe, which means it didn't happen.
yes,
So
that this was a police procedural because, like, you have a detective that worked on a case where a woman, Rosemary, kills her husband, Christopher, by putting him in an Iron Maiden and ships him off to Germany, and she gets the death penalty. And 10 years after her, death. Execution, he still believes that he was in the wrong, and he starts investigating stuff again.
all right.
And she asked, as in her will, to commemorate her 10th and the death of her death, 10th anniversary of her death.
All right.
So there's like this whole memorial where everybody involved with her and her husband kind of gathers. So this is definitely not the police procedural. So basically, I think it's because there were so many authors. So I think they played well with that. Because the book didn't feel like it was chopped up, like there were different voices. So basically, each chapter is almost like a different character. You follow the detective John Nunn. You follow different characters, like you follow Christopher, you follow Rosemary, you follow their friends, colleagues. So there's a lot of really like small chapters and really small like just paragraphs of people and their thoughts. I think it led well to like this whole notion of 26 people writing a single book.
All right.
And basically, the one thing I loved the most was actually the beginning, because you got to kind of follow Rosemary and Christopher and the timeline and events that led to him being murdered and her being executed, including the very execution itself.
All right.
And that was like really like intense and like it gripped me very much. But later, like there's like this middle part where there's the transition between the past and the memorial, where again stuff happens, and like this is where it gets interesting again, where it's just like different people and how they feel about the memorial, how they felt about Rosemary. So that was like a bit slow. And then in the end, there was a twist that I just didn't see coming. I think people who actually read a lot of mysteries would get it sooner, but like for me it was just like, oh my god, how did I not see this coming? That makes so much sense. So yeah. And basically, yeah, I think it's not the best thing I've ever read, but it was like just like a nice read, just to break up everything else I was reading. So yeah, I like, just for good like 3-star read, 3.5-star read, is just like really good.
All right. Another readathon that I participated in February was Shiftaton. All the information will be down below. And basically the goal was to read books with shifters in them. And I read one book for that, and that is Hounded by Kevin Hearn, which is a really, really, really good first book in an urban fantasy series. I enjoyed it so much. Basically, we follow Atticus Sullivan, I think, or O'Sullivan. Anyway, basically he's a Celtic druid. He's been alive for 21 century. Right, so from the beginning of time, whatever, he's been alive for a really long time, and he's pretending to be a 21-year-old in Arizona. He has an occult shop, and he basically sells like basically tea and whatever, not books in his shop. Okay. And he is being hounded by a Celtic god of something, I don't remember. Anyway, because Atticus has a very fancy ass sword that has a fancy ass name. And with this sword, you become powerful, and you can basically make people tell the truth and whatnot. And so throughout the book, we follow as he's trying to save himself from this god. He has a pet, an Irish hound dog. I don't know if you know what an Irish hound looks like.
Yes, I know.
They're fantastic. I love those dogs.
Yes, they are.
Oh my god, I forgot the guy's name. Anyway, the dog's name, who basically he can talk to him.
Oh.
And it was so fun watching their relationship, their friendship, and so on. And throughout the book, we meet various Celtic gods. We meet fairies who are evil and want to kill Atticus, and his friends and witches. And it was such a fun urban fantasy book. I'm like, I had this book on my radar for so long. I don't know why I didn't read it, and it's so good. I'm so looking forward to continuing with the series, because it is really good. Like, for an urban fantasy series, I always compare everything to Dresden, but this was so good. I mean, this was a better first book in the series than Dresden had.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just so looking forward to and it thankfully doesn't have like 15 million books like Dresden does. It only has like around 8 or 10 or so whatnot, but really, really fun. Yeah, and the character is there's humor, there's like, I listen to it on audio as well, so there's like Irish accents all around and stuff,
cool.
and it's really fun. Yeah.
Okay, next up, I finally read another of my 5-star predictions.
Okay.
And that is Holopunk by Jessica Townsend. This is the third book in the Nevermore series. We follow Morrigan Crow as she starts her year at school. Mm-hmm. And basically, as the story goes, we find out that there's a very weird kind of virus going around, attacking Woonimals, which are like basically sentient animals. But like a mix of human and animal, if I gathered correctly. Like,
none of they're actual animals, but they act like humans.
Oh, okay.
Like they wear clothes, they have jobs,
But basically sentient animals. And I actually really like this. Mm-hmm. I think I preferred the first two. Like, this was just like a lower. Because the first part was very slow.
Yes.
Like the actual holopox and the virus comes like lots later, and actually Morgan gets involved a lot later in this book than she gets in the first two books. Mm-hmm. Like, she is much more involved.
Well, she spends the first half learning about herself, right?
I just want to say, but I understand why, because like in the first two books, we actually had a problem with her not knowing anything about her powers and not knowing anything basically not about the world, and no one wanted to tell her. Mm-hmm. And now finally, like, yes, it's slow, but I get it, because we finally get to see what she could do as she learns her powers and everything. So I get it, but it was still slow and not that interesting. But the end was really just like fast-paced and just like stuff going on. And I absolutely love that she finally stood up to Jupiter and told him, "You adults are shit, and you don't tell me anything, and I'm the only one that's like this wondersmith thingy, and you're just not telling me anything. How do you think I cope? And how do you think I'm supposed to live if you don't tell me anything?" And I love that. Like, finally, she spoke up, and that was awesome.
All right. So was it a 5-star read?
I don't even remember. I think I gave it 4 stars.
All right. Okay.
But I'm not sure. Maybe it was 5 stars. I don't know. I know I fled through the book, so.
All right. I don't know. Okay. So finally, I read book 1 in the First Law series by Joe Abercrombie, which is The Blade itself. If you don't know, there is a First Law read-along, that is happening with Bethany from Beautifully Bookish Bethany and Leanne from Leanne's Library. Basically, they read 1 book a month, and I'm a month behind, so I finally read the first one. So in the first one, The Blade itself, we follow 3 different characters with the addition of a 4th one that comes in later. So we follow, I forgot the L, Glokta. See, I forgot to add the L in the thingy. Glokta, I keep mispronouncing his name. Basically, he was a very handsome knight, and not knight, but whatever, soldier. He was, his royalty. And during the war, he was taken by the enemy and tortured and turned into a cripple. So he's like basically shunned by society, and he is now a torturer for the King's Inquisition. And he basically spends the entire book torturing people and discovering conspiracies and working for his boss and stuff. Next character we follow is Jezanden Luther, whatever his name is. Anyway, he is what Glotka was before, but so self-centered, shallow, and like any horrible thing you can think of a young, handsome royal who basically spends his time drinking and trying to and cheating at cards with his friends. And he's basically his father wants him to compete in this royal tournament to discover like the best swordsman in the land, whatnot. Okay. And he's not very interested in that, but he's very easily manipulated by women. actually a specific woman who doesn't want him. So he's like, oh my god, I must have her. But she's so, but the woman is not royal. So he basically the entire book is like fighting with himself. But you know, she's common, and you know, but. It was a very annoying and eye-rolly point of view to follow, but in the later
Sounds
book,
like it.
but in the later book, there is a little bit of
Explanation?
Not explanation.
Background?
What do you call it? Redemption? Not redemption. Redemptive qualities? Is that the thing?
Yeah, sure.
A little bit. He redeems himself a little bit by he minutely changes his behavior and so on, which kind of goes okay, but then he says something stupid and like, okay, right, he's not like fully on. And then we follow also Logan Nine Fingers. He's a northern barbarian who in the beginning of the book basically is almost killed, but then because he's fighting this they're not like not fuck, I'm just obsessed with aliens right now. He's fighting these creatures in the land, and he basically almost gets killed, but found by baby mage, who basically takes him to Byzance, who is the first Magi in that world, and together they go traveling to the city where the tournament is being held, and in one point the three of them are together in the city with their various supporting characters and stuff happens. So,
okay.
That
sounds like a lot.
It is a lot, but this is a grim, dark fantasy, and I finally realized why people keep saying Joe Abercrombie writes grim, dark fantasy. It is so, everybody is so, not evil, but everyone is bad. And everyone sucks to such a high degree, but you cannot help but be interested in what is going to happen next. Because everyone is plotting, everyone is, I mean, Glokta is torturing people all the time. I mean, he also has practicals. He's like two, not students, but whatever, who help him because he has difficulty walking. But, you know, it's like, everyone is doing such horrible things, and there was a moment where I was so shocked. I was literally cleaning my bathroom, and then something happened, and I was like in the middle of scrubbing the what do you call that, sink, but it's in the bathroom, so it's wash basin. Basically, like I stopped, like what the actual fuck? It was so horrendous. It was so unexpected. It was so dark. I was like, oh my god, and it's just it has moments like that throughout the book, and it's very interesting. And there's plot. There's like political what do you call them, intrigue, yes, there's fighting, there's magic, a little bit of magic, there's like history. Logan is a berserker, I think, and there's like so much that's happening. And that in the end basically the three of them, even though they hate each other, all of them have to go without Glokta because he's sent somewhere else, basically have to go and find something to fight the northern lord that's basically invading their land. It's like so much stuff is happening, and it was so interesting. And there's not like a typical goody two shoes character that's like Falkio, like that's going to like save everybody. And it was so fascinating to me, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay. And finally. I read Dark Waters by Catherine Arden, which is the fourth book in the Small Spaces series. So this is a middle grade horror series, and I gave it 5 stars. I loved it. I read it in almost one sitting.
That's good.
Like it just flew by. It's again condensed like in a small period of time, so it's not like vast or anything, and in this book we follow the point of view of Brian. So like this is like one thing I really like in these books, that each book has a different child as a main point of view character, so you actually get to go through all of them, and just it gives a different perspective to the story. And in this one we follow Brian, Ollie, and oh my god, Coco are the three, yes, and one of their like school colleagues, classmates. Thank you. I'm not in the school setting. I don't know. Anyways, another classmate, as they go on like this ship on a lake, and they get stranded in the middle of the night.
Of course
there.
they do.
Because like some creepy things are in the water. So why I gave this 5 stars is because I'm freaking afraid of water, and this was just like my worst nightmare ever. They don't actually end up in the water, but the fact that the creatures are from water and they can walk on land, and there were a lot of bones and other stuff on the land, because
it's giving me like, what's that mermaid thing from Mirograd that we read? It's giving me those vibes. In the deep, rolling in the deep.
No,
into the deep.
Into the deep.
There is rolling into the.
That's an adult song,
but it's also a.
It is.
It is.
Okay.
I think
Anyways, and they kind of get stranded on the ship, and they manage to go to an island in the middle of this lake, which nobody knows about. Like it's like the Bermuda Triangle thingy, and there's the whole like the bones and everything, and there's like a lot of sounds. Like it felt very atmospheric to me, so I just like totally. I was listening it on audio, which definitely helped. Just like kind of build that whole tension, and I absolutely loved it, as you can see from the way I'm talking about it. So
That's
yeah,
great.
I can't wait. Is this the third or the fourth book? No, this is the third book.
I don't know.
No, this is the third book. The fourth one is coming out this year, I think.
Okay, good.
So yeah.
All right. So this is the end of part 2 of our wrap up. I mean, we obviously either need to read less books or speak shortly about them. But yeah, there will be links to stuff that's happening around the world, especially Ukraine, for you to check out which ways you can help. If you've read any of the books that we have, please do share so down below in the comments.
Please like, share, subscribe, press the bell button if you want to get notifications whenever we post new videos.
And thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.